So welcome back. We're now on chapter 1.7 in the grade 7 textbook. And this is a really super fun chapter for those students who kind of like to do a little detective work or to do multiple kind of steps in one problem. And this is called orders of operations. If we look back at grade 6, we did look at orders of operations in terms of we looked at certain steps that have to be done in a certain order in mathematics. And so you looked at division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction and how to put those in proper order. Now, in grade 7 and grade 8, because you're learning now an extra operation called the exponent, or in power form, those also fall under the order of operations. So the order of operations follows this rule. We always start off with brackets, and we always start from inner brackets first to outer brackets. So that means if we're given a problem, they're not really an operation, they're more like a placeholder. They tell you where to start. So for example, if I have the problem 5 plus 3 times 2, normally in regular grade 6 orders of operation, multiplication and division operate first. So in this case, I would have 3 times 2 is 6 plus 5 is 11. And what brackets do is they change the order. So if I put brackets around here, that means I start off with 5 plus 3 first, which would be 8 times 2, so my answer would be 16. So notice how brackets already could change the problem. Depending on the order of the other operations, brackets might not do anything at all. Now there's different types of brackets that there are. So you might see round brackets, and these are called parentheses. We also have square brackets, which look like this. And we even have curly brackets that look like that. You don't really need to know the names of them, but you need to recognize that if you do see these types of brackets, that these act like the other types of brackets. And we start from inner to outer, so which means if I had an outer bracket around this, I would start with whatever's on the inside first and then move to the outer bracket afterwards. So I start from the inside, moving out. The second family, so this is always first. The second family is the exponents or powers, or any roots that occur. So for example, if we have this problem, 2 to the second power plus 4, because exponents and roots come first, I would solve this part of the problem first. So 2 squared is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8 in this particular problem. If we didn't and we looked at addition first, then someone might say 2 plus 4 is 6, and then 6 squared is 36, but that would be an incorrect answer. The third family is the division multiplication family. Now notice that I say that they're a family. It's because they actually, there is no preference over which one comes first, except we go from left to right. Whatever shows up first on the left side, you complete that operation first, whether it's division or multiplication first. So for example, if I had the small expression 100 times 10 divided by 4, in this case, even though division looks like it comes first in this list, I'd actually solve whatever comes first, and what comes first is this multiplication. So I would do 100 times 10 is 1,000 divided by 4 is 250. In this problem, actually, if you did the division first, you would get the same answer, but there are some cases where you wouldn't. So you do have to be careful just to go from left to right when solving an orders of operation problem. Once you've solved all the divisions and multiplications, then you move to the last family, which is addition subtraction. And this, again, depending on the problem or if they both show up, you solve them from left to right. So if I have the problem 10 minus 2 plus 3, So even though addition looks like it comes first, then we have 2 plus 3 is 5, 10 minus 5 is 5. You might think that that's the answer if you did addition first. But because they're both in the same family, both subtraction and addition have the same priority. So which means in this case, I move it from left to right. So 10 minus 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11. So those are our four orders of operations. We have brackets, exponents and roots, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. We could remember this using the acronym BEDMAS. Unfortunately, roots got a little bit neglected from this acronym. It would be BIRDMAS if roots were in there. But BEDMAS tends to be the standard when you see it in high school or university. You'll be seeing BEDMAS as the orders of operation. Brackets first, then any exponents or roots, then divisions and multiplications combined together in the same family, and then addition and subtraction in the same family together. So I'll give you two problems. You can put the video on pause so that you can work on them, and then you can see whether or not your work is correct. So here's example A. Try this one out. It's going to be a little bit complicated because it has several operations all combined together. And what I want to make sure you do is that you solve it line by repeating the entire line through and just changing what that operation is. So what I'll do is I'll do the first line for you, and then you can put pause, and then you can continue the rest of it. So rather than just scribbling out the answers for the different parts, I'm going to rewrite the whole line, but changing only what I'm going to be operating on. So in this case, I look here, I have some brackets, I have an exponent, I have a division, some additions and subtractions, and a multiplication. Lots of operations in there. I start with the innermost bracket, so I have here inner bracket and an inner bracket. I can actually solve them in the same line, or I can solve them in two different lines. So I'll solve them in the same line first, and different lines. So notice that I'm going to rewrite everything except what I'm going to change. And I have 5 plus 3, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So what I want you to do is press pause now, and then you can continue on the rest of the problem, and then you'll be able to see whether or not you were correct. So once we've unpaused, we can continue the rest of our problem. We see another set of brackets over there. So this is now divided by 4. Close that bracket times 2. I'm still working in my bracket, and I see now that this bracket has nothing left in it. I can actually remove the bracket, and now this is 8 squared divided by 4. So 8 squared is 64 divided by 4. Notice that the brackets went away because there are no more operations in it. So now I have this square bracket, so I work on this first before I do this multiply by 2. 64 divided by 4 is 16. It's in square brackets, but I'll skip the step knowing that there's no other operations in it by removing it. So 16, and then I have the times 2 left, and the answer is 32. Question B. So we'll write the problem again, and then I want you to press pause on the video so that we can check the answers to this problem. I have the square root of 1024 minus bracket 12 divided by 2 plus 2 squared. So press pause now and see if you can solve this problem. So after you've unpaused, we can see that we have brackets here. So let's solve everything in the brackets. So let's just rewrite everything here. And now in this bracket, I have a division, I had an addition, and I have an exponent. So of the ones that comes first, I look at BEDMAS, and I see that exponents comes first. So 12 divided by 2 plus 4. That's the only thing I'm changing. Then I have a division within this sentence. I have 12 divided by 2, and that's 6 plus 4. I continue on in my bracket, and I have 6 plus 4 is 10. Notice that 10 then is the only thing left in this bracket, so I'm going to remove the bracket and just do square root of 1024 minus 10. Now I have a root and then a subtraction, so I'll do the root first. Square root of 1024 is 32 minus 10, and the answer is 22. Now, here's a little funny thing. If you try to use your calculator to check your work, sometimes calculators do follow the rules of operations. Sometimes they don't follow the rules of operations. So I'll give you one last problem just to see whether or not your calculator actually uses the correct orders of operations or not. And here's your problem. It's 41 times 160 minus 18 times 13 minus 2,690. What I want you to do is try to type that in your calculator and then try to work it out by hand as well and see if you get the same answer. If you get the same answer, then your calculator might follow the rules of operation. You'll have to try it out. Most calculators or scientific calculators do, but some of the standard calculators don't. So let's just quickly review that when you look at orders of operations, you start with brackets from inner to outer. Within the brackets, there might be some operations that you have to restart a new bed mass within that bracket. And then, so within any bracket, within any inner bracket, or in an outer bracket later on, you'll follow the rest of the bed mass rules, which is exponents and roots from left to right, division and multiplication from left to right, and then addition and subtraction from left to right. It is pretty tricky, so you need to practice a couple of the practice problems that are in the textbook, and then we'll be able to answer any questions that you have in class. Hopefully you understood the lesson.